It is never my intention to come off as judgmental. I feel like it is my job to present you with the facts, and then you can make an educated decision from those facts. So that is my agenda in this video. I don't want to make anyone feel bad, but I need to say this. Hello friends, welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too. Okay, it's too sunny. Let's go sit back down. You want to? Okay. Bubblicious. You are so beautiful to me. Look at him. He is so beautiful and sweet. You're a good boy. I'm gonna put you down. Okay, so last year I posted a video about how to treat scaly leg mite, which is like these awful mites that chickens can get on their feet and legs. And the way that I showed how to treat it is what I believe the easiest and fastest way, especially if you have a big flock. But I say in the video that what I'm showing is not the only way to treat scaly leg mite. In fact, I talk about how if you have a chicken that has a very severe case of it, then you need to treat with something healing like Vaseline, or preferably A&D ointment works really well. The way that I was showing is just like using very cheap vegetable oil to do a quick treatment on them, and that will get rid of the scaly leg mite. So it was a totally innocent video, I promise. What I will do sometimes with my long form videos is I will have my editors take them and make them into short videos that I can share on YouTube as like YouTube shorts, or I can share it on like Instagram as an Instagram reel. The video about treating scaly leg mite was chopped up into 4 mini videos, and I posted them on YouTube, and I also posted them on Instagram. And one of them, the one with like the bulk of information on how to treat scaly leg mite using vegetable oil, it went viral, which is both a blessing and a curse. So, of course, you know, all the amateur comedians came out and told me, oh, that's how I make fried chicken. Or, oh, do you have to heat the oil up to 350? Ha ha ha. You know, I'm not a vegetarian, okay? I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not a vegetarian, but like after a while it gets old. I don't eat my chickens. These aren't meat chickens. Not every chicken is made for meat. It's all good, but after the 50,000th time that I've heard that joke, it's just like, okay, come up with something original. But honestly, like, I'm used to those kinds of comments on my videos. Those jokes don't really bother me that much. What really bothered me was that there were many comments where people were saying, I treat scaly leg mite with used motor oil, or I treat scaly leg mite with gasoline. I am someone that I really don't like to delete comments unless they're nasty. Like if someone's being nasty to me, I will delete those comments. But if someone is just giving their opinion, I don't want to delete those comments. Like, I believe that people should have free speech and everything. But I did hide a lot of those comments. And not because I felt like you shouldn't make that comment on Instagram, but because I was concerned that people would follow that advice. And after having to, you know, hide so many of those comments, I was just getting so frustrated. I'm like, oh my gosh, why do people think that it's okay to put motor oil on your chickens? And why do people think that it's okay to use gasoline on your chickens? So I was getting really frustrated. I went into a Facebook group that I belong to that has other people in it that have homesteading type YouTube channels. And I confess, I made like kind of a snarky post, and I was like, I just love it when people say, put motor oil on your chickens and put gasoline on your chickens. Isn't that awesome? I was being kind of judgmental. I mean, I really was. And somebody commented and they said, look, this is an old remedy. People do it. They don't have a lot of money to buy other things, to buy medicines for their chickens, or they do it because that's what they've been told. Even some veterinarians will say to do this. And I read that and I was like, oh, gosh, I'm being judgmental, you know, I'm being kind of a jerk. So I deleted that and I really started to think about it, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna make this video where I talk about this issue, and hopefully, you know, you can hear me out. Even if you feel like this is a treatment that you wanna use or you have used, I don't want you to feel judged, but I do want you to hear me out because there are some real potential dangers with doing these things. First of all, the reason why people either use motor oil or gasoline to treat scaly leg mite, it's the same kind of concept as using oil or Vaseline. They coat the chicken's legs with these substances. The reason why they do it and continue to do it is because it works. It really works to get rid of scaly leg mite. And from what I understand, it only takes one treatment, maybe two treatments to get rid of them completely. So obviously people are drawn to that, you know, especially if they have a big flock. They don't want to be treating chickens over and over again. It's kind of a pain. And then the other thing is educators will say to do this, and even some veterinarians will say to do this. And the reason they say it is because it works. I can't deny that. But I can acknowledge that something works while also understanding that there are times when the cure is actually worse than the disease. And if we look in our history, and even modern times, but let's go back a little bit and look in our history in the Western world. I mean, we used to use mercury for everything. It's like, you know, you got an infection, whatever, you got a sore throat here, just drink some of this mercury. Let's put mercury on your body. Let's do all this stuff with mercury because why? Well, it works. It works really well, but it also might make your nose fall off, among other things. Like, we know now that it is not good to treat things with mercury. Like, really, it might cure immediately what you have going on, but you will end up with a whole other host of problems because of using this substance, which is very dangerous for the human body. Now, when we look at modern times, I am someone who, in my late 20s, I had a very simple infection. I went to the doctor, and the doctor gave me an antibiotic, which at the time was just handed out like candy. He gave me this antibiotic. Wow, did it work? Like, very quickly it worked. At the time, I was training for the LA Marathon. And you know, after I took that antibiotic, I was in so much pain. It completely changed my life. I have never since trained for a marathon, okay? It took me out of that completely, out of that lifestyle completely, because I was in so much pain that I was, nearly immobile. And it really changed the course of my life. Were there other medications that could have worked? You know, maybe it would have taken a little bit longer, maybe it would have been a little bit more uncomfortable for me. Yes, but they gave me that medication because at the time it was very popular, it was being used a lot. Now it is, there are a lot of warnings that come with that medication. It's still out there, but in general, it is not used unless it's a very serious situation, or at least it shouldn't be, because there's a ton of warnings on it, and it can kill you, or it can make you to where you can't walk. Like, that's how serious it is. So that's another situation where it's like, here's something that works, but it also does other things. It works on this one thing. It will get rid of this one thing, but it will leave you with a whole other host of problems. And that's how I want you to think about using gasoline and using used motor oil on your chickens. It works, okay? It works for scaly leg mite, but it also has the potential to cause damage, and I want to tell you about that. When chickens have scaly leg mite, their skin can be very irritated. Gasoline and used motor oil can be very irritating on your skin. Now, if you can imagine what it would be like to have pretty awful, significantly awful skin irritation, and then to put used motor oil on it or to put gasoline on it, that by itself can irritate your skin, and you're putting it on top of irritation. In my mind, that could cause a lot of distress for your chickens. Then there's also, with gasoline, the thing about how you really don't want to be inhaling that a lot. That's not good for you. If you put it on your chickens, your whole coop is going to smell like gasoline, and they're going to be inhaling that. You're inhaling that, and that's just not good for you. And why do it when there's so many other options that are very easy and cheap? I just would not do that. Gasoline is also a fire hazard. So if you're putting it on your chickens, it's dripping off your chickens, you're putting your chickens back into your coop, you've got a heat lamp in your coop, you know, I just don't think it's a good idea. So let's talk a little bit about used motor oil. That is a carcinogen. You don't really want to have that on you. I wouldn't want to put it on your chickens. You know, it may get on eggs. I wouldn't do that solely because of that. But there are other issues such as, you know, especially used motor oil, it can have heavy metal toxins in it. And that's another thing that you really don't want to be messing with that. You don't want it on you. You don't want it on your chickens. You don't want it on the eggs. And everything that we put on our chickens, it doesn't just stay on our chickens. It doesn't stay in our chickens. Like, it goes out into the environment. So those are all the things that we need to consider. You know, I know a lot of guys that are out there, you know, mechanics and stuff. They're working with these materials, they get it on their hands, and they're fine. But with your chickens, you have so many other options, like I said before. And I just think that the risk is not worth it. Like, when you're calculating risk, it's just not worth it. Vegetable oil, like super cheap vegetable oil, I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't cook with vegetable oil. I don't cook with soy oil. I don't cook with canola oil. But putting it on your chickens to treat scaly leg mite, I think that your chickens are going to be fine. If you don't want to use vegetable oil under any circumstances, then you can use coconut oil, or you can use udder balm. There are other products that you can use if you don't want to use that are not motor oil or gasoline. If you really need something that is cheap, you could even use used vegetable oil, okay? That you've cooked with, that came out of the deep fryer. But make sure it's cooled down, okay? And don't make any jokes about that. All right, well, you know, first and foremost, I just want you guys to know I'm telling you all this, I'm giving you this information because I care about you. I care about your chickens, but I don't just care about them. I care about you too. I care about your health, not just your chicken's health, but your health. That is my main concern. That's where my heart is. I just want the best for you and your family. If you want to see the full tutorial of how to treat scaly leg mite, guess what? It's on the screen right now, and it's 100% friendly backyard chickens education and entertainment. I know you're gonna love it. Right.